All right, here I want you to actually try to do these 5 problems. So if you can get out your notebook and write down some answers to these, and go ahead and pause the video until you've tried all 5 problems. All right, now you should be back, and basically how we're going to start is if it wants to know a quadrant, we better remember our quadrants. Quadrant 1 is when both x and y are positive. Quadrant 2, x is negative, y is positive. Quadrant 3, they're both negative. And in quadrant 4, you go right, which makes x positive, and you go down, which makes y negative. And do not forget that the ordered pair xy is similar to saying cosine is x and sine is y. Because of the alphabet, x comes before y and c comes before s. All right, so sine, it's question number 1. Sine says, when is the sine of the angle greater than 0? So when is sine greater than 0? So sine is y, and that would be greater than 0 when you go up. So you have 2 quadrants that's happening. Then it says, when is the cosine of an angle less than 0? Now cosine is x, so cosine is less than 0 when you go left. So that's these 2 quadrants. So now you can see which quadrant both the sine of an angle is positive and the cosine of an angle is negative. All right, moving on, what quadrant is the terminal side of 250 degrees? So now you do have to remember your standard angle in standard position starts on the positive x-axis. 250 degrees is past 180. In fact, if we subtract, we will know that it is 70 degrees past 180. Now, 90 degrees takes you all the way down to 270, so you're not going to have to go that far. You're only going to have to go another 70. So you start, the nicest way to draw that would be to start at 0 and go all the way across to 250 and draw your terminal side. So now we know what quadrant the terminal side is in. If you move to number 3, what quadrant is the terminal side of negative 45? So remember that negative 45, you're going from the positive x-axis, negative 45, you're going clockwise. Since negative 90 is the same as 270, negative 45 is in quadrant 4. Number 4, the reference angle, you do have to remember what reference angle means, okay? Reference angle is how far you are from the x-axis. So once you know where 130 is, it is past 90, but it's not up to 180. So 130, you have to know that's 130. The reference is how far from the x-axis. Okay, so the reference angle is how far you are from the x-axis. Oh, this is good color for that. So how far is this distance from the x-axis? That's your reference angle. So 180 and 130 have a difference of 50, so you can just say 50 degrees there. What's coterminal? Now remember that word, okay? Coterminal has a whole other meaning. Coterminal means that you're adding or subtracting 360. So if you're at 130, you're just starting at 130 and adding another 360. So whatever 360 plus 130 is, that's one possible coterminal. If you want to get a negative angle for 130, that is coterminal to 130, you can go clockwise. So if you started at 130 and basically took away 360, you should be at, I believe that would be 230, and it would be negative. And so that's how you can say either 490 or negative 230. All right, that was just a quick check-in, and now we're going to actually move on to the new material.